Ghana Education Service. Thank you very much for your time and good morning to you.
Hello, good morning.
I hope you're well.
Thank you for the opportunity. Yes, I'm good. I hope you are good too.
I am doing well too. Have you taken note of the questions my colleague just highlighted?
Can you repeat it for me?
Yes. So SM, go over the questions.
Openi mi bisa say ensohwe no emra wo ho no bamocho masesemu ana ena afesu no invigilators ni supervisors a last year mo chichichichi bi mu say omo kire nkwara no apone ade no eno hwehwemu na kwa kosi san.
All right. That's it for the opportunity. So let me deal with the first question on the rules and regulations governing the examination. Let me indicate that the rules have not been changed. They are standard rules governing the examinations globally. And for us to obtain very credible certification, and of course the conduct of the examination itself, there was the need to make sure that the rules are not only maintained, but sensitization is done nationwide. So last week, we did a nationwide sensitization exercise on the BECE, on the rules and regulations governing the BECE, on the repercussions if anyone engages in malpractice. And these engagements involve all stakeholders, from the student themselves to the parents to the security agencies who we collaborate strongly with in such times, civil society organizations, teacher unions, the heads of the various institutions, and all stakeholders, district directors, regional directors of education, and all of them, because we didn't want a situation where tomorrow somebody is caught, somebody is found engaging in uncough behavior in and around the examination center, and then people will claim that they didn't know that these were there, or they were ignorant of the repercussions awaiting them. And so we did the whole nationwide exercise to make sure that everybody understood their role in the process, what is expected of them, and what will become of them if they do not abide. And so we have not just maintained the rules, we have actually gone around to educate the population on what rules exist and what must be done. So that is on the...
Okay, so before you go to the second question, a couple of things. Yes. First, clarify a few things for me. As far as the students are concerned, what are expectations of them?
Okay, so if we're students, we are expecting that, one, you would have prepared very well, adequately. By preparation, I mean you would have read your books, studied your materials, the curriculum, the syllabus, the textbooks you were given, the notebooks, and the notes your teachers have given you, the exercises, the training your teachers have given you. You would have taken them extremely seriously, because from where we sit, we are not going to set questions that are odd, that are weird, that are outside your grade level or your ability level. We are not going to set questions that do not have any foundation in the curriculum and the syllabus that students have been prepared with. Don't forget that these textbooks and the curriculum and the syllabus are approved, in fact designed by NACA and by extension by government. And so we are not going to give you questions that are so deadly that you need to engage in more practice before you can pass them. So that's the first one, preparations. Second one is you report to the examination center on time. When I say on time, I mean about 30 minutes before the start of the examination, because we are making sure you will be inspected, your seating arrangement and everything is in place even before the papers come. And these arrangements will be made about 30 to 1 hour before the start of the paper. So we expect early reporting 3, we expect you to comport yourself very well. If your invigilators ask that you show them some document, you show them your identity, they are inspecting you, so you comport yourself. We expect you to go strictly by these instructions for a very peaceful conduct of the exercise. In the examination room, we don't expect that you enter with a foreign material. When we say a foreign material, we mean any material that you could have written some notes on, right? And so we are looking at a paper, a mobile phone, or anything at all that you would have recorded anything on. We don't expect you to enter the examination hall with any foreign material. Inside the examination room, we don't expect you to talk with your colleagues. We don't expect you to engage with your friends. It is a very independent activity, very independent exercise. It is just to test your preparations for the past 9 years. And so we expect that you strictly go by this. Post-examination, we don't expect that after the examination, you break any chair, you break any table, probably out of too much excitement or sadness. We don't expect that you damage any government property. After the paper, you walk out peacefully and you go to your house. Tomorrow, you come back to sit until the week is over, where we would say all the papers are done with. So basically, these are the general expectations. Of course, in answering the questions too, we expect that you are diligent, you read the questions, you understand the questions very well, you understand what the question demands of you, and you provide the appropriate responses for these questions here.
So, indiscipline of any sort will not be tolerated from them
at all. In fact, it is part of the pre-examination arrangement we made. As I mentioned, we did the nationwide sensitization exercise. It was part of the pre-examination, because we know that the examination itself is not only what happens when we say start work, but some activities even start before the examination itself. And these activities are what we believe that we needed to guide or orient our stakeholders on. And so last week, we called all the various stakeholders and we made sure they understood that indiscipline, as you mentioned, indiscipline of all sort or angle, will not only be tolerated, but will be sanctioned when you are caught. And so, and the sanctions are grave, including cancellation of your result. In fact, almost every year, the highest number of sanction that is dished out is the withholding or cancellation of results. So of course we will find people who entered the room with some mobile phone. We will catch them and punish. We'll find people who entered with some notes, books and papers. We will catch them and sanction them. But sometimes some of them manage to beat the system. Even when you beat the system, we have a post-examination audit that also happens. So the fact that probably an invigilator allowed you to cheat, an invigilator permitted you to copy, doesn't end there. The highest number of sanctions we have recorded are normally the post-examination audits. And for that one, of course, I won't go into the details because you wouldn't want to give all your security secrets out. But I tell you that every year, the number of papers that are cancelled or the number of papers that are withheld are more than the number of probably mobile phone sanctions or notebooks or notepad sanctions or copying in the exam room sanctions, right? So nobody should think that you are beating the system and somebody allowed you to copy and so you are good to go and all that. No, there are a lot of very, very serious post-examination audits of the papers, of the script that we do. And so nobody is encouraged to engage in any sort of indiscipline or malpractice in any shape or form. Yes.
And that includes the examiners?
Of course, includes everybody. In fact, it even
Yeah.
includes
I think
the PRO who is
the what I should be
taking
saying is the invigilators, actually.
Hello, come again.
Yes, those who be supervising the exams, because majority of the time, I realize that when issues of cheating comes in, you sometimes tackle those who have recruited to do the basic job of supervising and ensuring that the students do not engage in cheating. What do you expect of them, and what are you doing this year to ensure that this issue of cheating, copying, among others, does not happen this year?
All right. So the first leg is that we have given them very comprehensive pre-examination training and orientation. We believe that for this year particularly, we strengthened the sensitization exercise strongly because we felt last year it was one of the loopholes in the system. And so this year we have made sure that everybody has gone through the sensitization exercise. So that's the first leg. The second leg is that those who were or have been recruited to undertake the supervision and invigilation this year were a bit more meticulous than some past years because we realized that some of these authorities actually engage in and encourage some of these more practices. And so for this year, we're quite meticulous on who we bring on board, including the fact that for last year, those who have been caught were banned completely from getting anywhere close to any center. So if last year your name came up, we suspected you or even we caught you in the act, you are not to go anywhere close to. And this information has gone down to all the examination officers in the district. And so it's not as if it is now that we are sending out this caution. It has gone way back. And so the examination officers were guided by this directive, and it guided their recruitment of the invigilators and then the supervisors. You asked the question of last year, what happened to them. In fact,
Yes.
as we speak, some of them are going in and out of court. You know, in this country, if the law has not caught up with you, it looks like there are no laws. But once you are on the radar, and so, in fact, we see and we hear a lot of people who are saying that, oh, last year people, what have you done to them? Last year people, there were a lot of more problems. Some of the vigilators were caught. What have you done? You are not seeing it because you yourself, you have not been caught. Or you yourself, you have not committed such an offense. If you do, that's when you realize that, hey, these things, a lot of things happen behind the closed doors. Except that sometimes by the nature of it, you are not able to give daily updates to the public on what's going on. But I can tell you that at least a minimum of about 40 of these people who were caught have been thrown in the court up and down courtroom for about 1 year now, not being able to go to the classroom. So some of them are going through the process. In fact, 8 of them were convicted and imprisoned. And you know, for Ghana Education Service, if you are an ex-convict, even for 1 day, you are dismissed. So those people will be dismissed outrightly. In fact, their docket is with the governing council, which is the highest decision-making body of the Ghana Education Service. And once we get them, but those ones, because they have been convicted and actually imprisoned, it is a done deal that they will be dismissed. There are others too who were fined by the court, of course, based on the gravity of your offense. Some were also fined, and who are paying. In fact, some of them have paid their fines. You will not hear these things, or you will not get daily updates on these, because, and sometimes, of course, it is not all the things that we do at headquarters that we put out there. But I can tell you that anybody who was caught, in fact, there are many others who have been interdicted. The ones that you would normally see and update generally will normally be those that caught media attention, and so it became a matter of public interest. And by that one, you are compelled to make sure the public is updated, because this is a matter that has caught the interest of the public, and the public is following keenly. But those that were caught and it didn't catch the attention of the public, they go through all the legal procedures and legal processes. They are sanctioned. They are given those that have to be interdicted. You know, the offenses normally range differently, and so based on the offense, you are given your punishment. So, lots of the teachers you see low key are going through hell because of some of these small practices, but you won't talk about them, or you won't hear them, or you won't see them, because probably the nature of the offense was such that it wasn't a matter of public interest, or it wasn't a matter that caught public attention. And of course, as a management, it is not all your daily activities. People expect to see results. People expect to see action and work. You wouldn't want to, on a daily basis, be writing and speaking and talking and updating and all that. People expect action, and that's what we do. So yes, a lot of the invigilators and supervisors who were caught have gone to, even as headquarters. I tell you, the number of people we have invited, and they come from their regions, Western, Eastern, Volta, almost every day to come and answer questions. I tell you that if you were in their shoes, you will be so frustrated, because we will not allow you, if we are a suspect. And don't forget, some of these ones, they begin as suspects, so you don't conclude on them even before the start of the investigations. And it is not a place that you would want to find yourself at all when you are caught. Again, for this year, what we have done is that, you know, one of the observations we made last year was that a lot of people had concerns, had issues, had information about more practices that they wanted to share with management, but they didn't really have any avenue to share. And so even though they saw it, even though they recorded it, they didn't have any avenue. And this is also to acknowledge that as management, we cannot be all over the country at the same time. Definitely, you can only be at some place at some time. And so what we have done is that we noticed that even in the centers where more practices are happening, even in the schools where more practices are happening, not all the teachers there are happy about it. And so you will find a colleague on your staff who has seen all the monies you have collected, all the bribes that the school is ready to pay, and they are not happy. For those ones, we have given numbers and contacts out, WhatsApp numbers, call numbers, that they can low-key, quietly, if they want, even anonymously, send videos, send pictures, send text messages, make a call to us that in this school. And as I talk, we released these contacts last Saturday. As we talk this morning, I dare say that we have received not less than 200 of such low-key information that we have put our radar strongly on them. And so now, if one invigilator or a supervisor, you wouldn't even have to wait to see that headquarters people are coming or regional people are coming before you comport yourself. You know, last year when we were going around, this is one of the things that we observed, that once they get a hint that officers from headquarters are coming, everybody is in line. Everybody make sure they comport themselves. Then when we leave, they come back to their usual practices. This time around, you wouldn't even have to wait and see a headquarters staff or a regional staff coming. I tell you, your own colleague who is seated by you, your own colleague supervisor, your own colleague invigilator, who has integrity and is not interested in the more practice happening, will record you, will take your picture. Sometimes if they don't have the opportunity to take your video or picture, they will send a text, a hint that this school, that school, or this is my own school. It is happening. And so you should go, you should come to my place, or you should invite this person and interrogate them. So this time around, our radar is spread widely. Now, all the teachers who have integrity. And I tell you that some of these more practices, those who engage in them, they are not many. Those with integrity are more. I mean, teachers, invigilators, supervisors with integrity, they are more than those who compromise even at the price of 50 pesos or 1 cedi. There are some people like that. At the mention of any form of money, they are ready to run down their integrity, compromise everything for that. Not all teachers are like that. In fact, a significant majority are not like that. For many of our teachers, if you even give them $100 million, they won't compromise.
Okay.
They have been in this service for 20 years, for 15 years. They have worked very diligently. And those ones, we are working strongly with them to root out any form of more practice.
We need to end this, but before we do, I wanted to find out from you. I realize that you mentioned parents and teachers. So the teachers who taught these children before the examinations, mostly these things are out of their hands because now they've handed them over to you and your invigilators. The parents too will not be there. So why do you have expectations of them too?
Indeed, the invigilators largely are also teachers. So when I mention teachers, I mean the invigilators and the supervisors. Of course, it is the supervisors from the district directorate offices. But when it comes to the invigilators, a significant majority of them are teachers. So that's the first leg. And so when I mention teachers, I'm largely talking about the invigilators.
Okay.
But there's even the point where normally when the students are going to the schools or the centers, they go with some of the teachers. I mean, as a guide, sometimes even their head teachers who go with them, encourage them, support them, and all that. Indeed, not all the students also move from their school to a center. Some of the schools are centers in themselves. And so in those schools, when you go there, you will find that all the other teachers, the examination is for only JHS 3 students. So the J2s, the J1s, the primaries, they are still learning, and all the teachers are there on campus. In fact, even for those that travel to an examination center, say a secondary school nearby or a big examination center nearby, when you go there, there are teachers who are still working, going about their daily activity because this examination is for only one class. That is the J3 student. It is those teachers that we believe that if you find yourself in a center or you are around the center, do not participate in any form of more practice. Do not engage in any form of more practice. And I'm not saying this because we think majority of the teachers do it. No. I'm saying this because we believe minority actually participate. However, the offenses are so disgraceful that even when a few of these are caught, they overshadow the good work that those with integrity are doing. Let me give you an example. As you rightly mentioned the statistics, there are about 2,303 centers, examination centers nationwide that our students are writing this examination. Sometimes by the time you finish, the centers that engage in more practice may not even be 100 out of the 2,000. But the 100 or the 50 or the 20 that participated in the more practice will overshadow the significant others who did not. And so we believe that even if it is 1 or 2 or 3, it is still so bad that it gives some doubts. It puts integrity issues on the examination and the BECE and the certificate that we award our students. That's why we are calling on every body to come on board. Again, the parents also have a significant role to play. Even this morning before the student left home, you would expect that their parents will give them some words of encouragement. I mean, during my time, my parents will pray with me before I step out. I know a lot of parents who engage in encouraging, motivating their students, praying with their words before they step out. We encourage them that while they are prepping up their students or their wards or their children to go out, they shouldn't encourage them to participate in more practice. And this is where parents, we believe, come in. I mean, for a parent, You tell your child that, hey, if you see any apple flying by, don't participate. If you see anyone copying, don't copy. And these words of parents are heavy for the student. They go a long way to impact how these children see and participate in the entire examination. And so we believe that parents and our teachers are very strong stakeholders in this examination. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for speaking to us.
All right. Thank you for the opportunity.
Daniel Fenyi speaks for the Ghana Education Office, Ghana Education Service. As always, a pleasure talking to him on the basic education certificate examinations. BECE.
Next week.
Yeah.
The entire next week Monday they say ebi much Arabic.
Okay.
And Arabic for no and be winning.
Okay. So they will conclude next week Monday.
But one Arabic and they don't be Friday.
Okay. Oh, so they are completing
Friday.
So Arabic is an extra.
Yes.
Extra course.
Yeah. Okay. And then Monday English and religious and moral education.
Okay.
Number 2.
English and religious and moral education.
That is where I have a problem.
Why?
The English and RME.
No, I don't see why they should use like one day you have to write 2 papers in one day. At least. When the 2 weeks, so a day for a paper, it's okay.
I agree.
A day for a paper. I've gone through this same system, but I've been thinking about it. I think it will be fair.
Secondary schools for no workers or throwback or I bet 3 days
before you come and write.
One day, one paper, but you cannot see.
Is it the higher you go up, the more time they leave between examinations?
Yes.
But the interesting thing is that when you are doing BECE, you are actually writing examinations for things that you study from
GHS 1
to GHS 3. Sometimes they will even bring classes issues too. It's the same. So I don't know why the senior high school people have a lot more time in between. The universities, they even leave longer period longer period in between. Even though universities, what you write is semester specific.
Yeah.
So there's a lot more pressure from what they are writing than what.
Because university, you only write exams on what you have
maybe it's a
taught in the
complication.
semester. Semester.
Maybe it's because it's a bit more complicated as you go to the top.
But I think it will be fair to everybody.
Yeah.
At least one day, one paper.
paper.
It's fair.
Okay. So
they should think about it.
Daniel, if you're listening to us, tell Prof and let Prof go and tell the minister. Let's consider
one day,
it.
one paper.
I agree with you.
2 weeks.
It's not like that. It's not. But some of them, they forget that they are writing examinations. Some of the students, you wake up and say, so this one.
So one day, one paper.
One day, one paper. Yes, one day, one paper. I think that'll be.
Yeah, one day, one paper is fair to everybody. Because you cannot write maths the same day with another
maths career technology.
You see. If you are writing maths today, it's maths. You are concentrating on maths. You don't have to divide your attention. Career development.
First, first name is social and science. These two, Ubertron and Dapro. But they say it's so much team. You say no, Utro social, Ubertro creative art. Now Ubertro science, no Utro Ghanaian language. This is I say, Omati Timu Kakra. First, need the Munu Park, science and social.
It's not fair. But, one day, one paper is fair to everyone.
But I think the pairing today is not bad.
English is enough from house.
English and
Arabic.
So, sorry, if I asked to write an essay,
it's a brofo no.
Brofo can.
No, you see, some people can write but cannot speak.
Yes.
In fact, if you go to the public schools, for example, in my own story, I don't know when I started speaking English, but when we were going to school, primary school, we were not speaking English, because if you make a mistake, the way they will laugh at you, the person who is laughing at you cannot even say what he said.
So you speak.
So you're hiding
something. Class. You just keep quiet. School close, you go home.
Yeah. So if you figure out the essay part, it should be okay.
Mathematics.
It's true.
It's not true.
Maths is formula.
You see, I realized
Get the
that
formula right.
I realized that those of us who went through the system where we struggled to get a grasp of speaking the English language. Look at you. If you give birth, look at your child. By the time they are 2 or 3, they are speaking English with you. Why? Because when you have learned the language, you speak it with them as a language, not as a subject.
As a language.
So our problem is that we were speaking our local dialect.
Our parents
before
didn't.
No, your parents didn't know how to speak the thing. You know me say, where did they learn it from? So they should be thanking their grandmothers and grandfathers who took us through the schools. So having now been in a position to be able to speak the English language, you now speak it to them so they learn it. To those of you who don't like speaking English, if you want your child to at least overcome that hurdle from a very early age, overcome your problem and start speaking English to them.
But Sana, do you also know that some of the kids now cannot speak their local languages?
I think I think if you can do a mix of it, but one of the things that happen to most of them is that when they get into the problem is you move them from your house where you're speaking English with them and move them to a school where they speak English. First, when you speak English with them in the house, they go to the local school where they have to speak the local language with people whose parents don't speak English with them. You see, so there are many students who get to the senior high school before they start learning the local language because of interactions. But I think that a mix of both will help, because at the school the instruction is in English. At the school's instruction is in English. So I think the parents still have the job to do. Mix both. Speak the local language to them. Speak English to them. Just mix them. They will get both. They will get both. And allow them to also mix with their
local people.
Their peers. Some of you hide your children. They never talk to anybody. No. Let them mix with their peers.
BECE nkwara no ye hye mu nyina nkran se munsua de na center no kwa no akọ ne ntem tell be pressure bia nkonkoda wo so